Hi guys, so I'm here to do the K-pop album tag for 2017. This was done by Random Me 2011 for a couple of years now, and I don't think I've done it every year consecutively, but I have some time today, and it's right before January 1st. It's about 11:30 p.m. right now when I'm filming this, but the video will go up on the 1st, obviously. So these are the lists that I had written down just to kind of fit my collection, because a lot of the other questions don't really apply to me, like the Japanese album and such. But this is my list, and I'll just go by one. My favorite album for 2017, this was really difficult because I didn't know whether to count full-length album or just or mini albums or anything like that. So I do have a couple of choices. Okay, so the first one is NCT Cherry Bomb. It's a little bit strange for me to really like this album because a lot of the songs on here are very R&B based, and it's a lot of slow moving music, but it has a certain, I don't know how you call it, like a very sexy adult vibe to it, and it sounds really good. Especially Whiplash, Running to You. My favorite song on here is 0 Mile. I think that's such a fun song and a little bit different than the rest of the songs on this album. But this album is just so good, and I think a lot of it contributes to how the members' voices interact with each other also. But Cherry Bomb, I really like this album. And another one of my favorite albums for this year, I can't go without mentioning Super Junior Play. The Black Suits, this is the Black Suits version, but the songs on the two albums are the same. This song, this Black Suits is a really good song, and this album as a whole gives me a very early 2007 Super Junior feeling, a little bit from their first album also, and it's just so nostalgic to listen to some of these for some reason, even though it's not exactly the same as like Dun Dun or Twins. A lot of the songs give like what was the song on here? I think Spin Up gave me a lot of the LOVE vibe from the first album, and then another song on here, I Do, gives me a lot of the Marry You feelings. So this song, I think, is such a smart album because it contributes to their history and kind of the overall SJ style that they're known for, but puts a lot of the new kind of techniques from 2017 or the later era. So I really like this album, and I don't know when I'll order the special edition. I mean, I should be getting it, but I've been so busy with everything that has slipped my mind completely. So has their Japanese release. So but this album is really good. Okay, so another best album for me for this year is 101 Nothing Without You. And they're a new group. It's just Produce 101 has ruined my life this year completely. It also did the same thing last year. But 101, they surprised everybody, I think, with how good their music is, because a lot of people, I don't think they realize when you have so many talented people come together for a group, they have to put out really good music, and I don't think a lot of people realize how good it could be. But on this album, Beautiful obviously is really good. Kakushipo is probably my favorite song on here, and the remixes are actually good for once. I don't trust remixes a lot because it just sounds like somebody like put a techno piano like in the back of a lot of songs in the instrumentals, and that's it. But these remixes actually sound different and sound very fresh, so I enjoyed that. And the outro is so good, the 2B1 outro. And then the Nothing Without You intro is also really good. So nothing bad you can say about this album at all, except maybe the packaging's a little flimsy, but Nothing Without You is really good. Okay, so next question is favorite photobook concept. This was really hard because I'm a fan of pretty pictures, and in a lot of groups, they all kind of take really pretty pictures, but if I really did have to choose, I would have to go with 101's To Be One, and this is actually the Japanese version of the album. I just wanted to show this version because the photo book is bigger, and so it's easier for me to show the pictures. And what I like about this is on one side you have the sky version photo book concepts, and then when you flip it you have the pink version. So it's really nice, and I think a lot of people would enjoy this. They get the best of both worlds kind of concept. And these pictures just kill me right here when they're on the beach and everybody's so cute in their straw hats. And these group shots are just so adorable. They're kind of the main reason why this is my favorite photo book concept. They just look so happy. And then the bright colors as well. It's just so cute. And you get to see everybody in their close-ups. And another thing I like is I think the order is like based on rank. I think that's really easy for people kind of just to know, oh, this is Kang Dan-ye or whoever, and based on the photo book order as well. And then on the other side you have their like strong gazes. But it's really nice, and I like how they went with this. Although what I would have preferred actually was having 2 different photo books for the 2 album versions, but oh well. So that is my favorite photo book for this year. Super Junior Play as well has a really great photo book. Okay, there was that. Next question is favorite packaging. I don't really have a favorite packaging, as long as it isn't in a jewel case. That's probably my favorite packaging. But I did pick out a pretty cute packaging that I thought was kind of interesting, was Kugudan Chokoko Factory, and it comes in a slipcover with that chocolate bar kind of bitten off looking, and like it looks like a wrapper, and I think that was just so cute how they did that. And then obviously you take the slipcover off and it's just a regular nice size album with the flip out photo book and CD in a case like that. I mean, this is a pretty good kind of packaging, nothing too spectacular, but I really like how they designed the slipcover. But like I said, everything was okay, I think, this year in terms of packaging for the most part. But unfortunately we come to my least favorite packaging, and I think this should be everybody's choice. NCT Limitless. I'm sorry, but when you put a CD, photo book, photo pieces, stickers, all in a giant envelope that is sealed by a sticky thing, a sticker, I don't think you're making the right decision. This was so annoying to open. It's so annoying to clean up after. It's annoying to even, oh my god. Everything about this, except for the music, is horrible. I really do like the photo book, or the postcards in here, but wow. I cannot believe, I don't know who came up with this, but they need to be fired. Okay, so yeah, not much more on that, except I hate the packaging so much. The next thing is favorite album from a rookie group. So I think I already mentioned 101 is my rookie group for this year. So this is my favorite album from them. Is also one of my favorite albums for the year period. And like I said, people should not underestimate 101 because they're either, you know, they're temporary or they're made of a whole bunch of different people together, you know, without any formal, they have training but not together, so people don't feel like they have enough to be a group. But this was awesome. They are a monster rookie group. This and To Be One has sold over 1 million copies, so I cannot say more about it. It's just a wonderful album. Okay, and then, oh, my thing fell. Hold on 1 second. Next is an album that surprised you this year. So, I do have 2 choices, and the first one is Red Velvet, Red Flavor. And the reason this surprised me, well, before I go into that, my other album is actually Twice Signal. these two albums, Twice Signal and Red Velvet, Red Flavor, really surprised me because I actually like the mini album. This sounds really bad considering Red Velvet and Twice are kind of one of my favorite groups, top 5 for girl groups. I generally don't like their music. I mean, that sounds really bad, but I like the members. I like their title song so much. But when it comes to their album songs, or at least, you know, the B-side tracks, there's just something difficult to swallow about some of the songs. And these two I had zero expectations for, because the albums prior to it, what was it? For Red Velvet, it was Rookie. I didn't really like that album all that much. And then for Twice, it was Knock Knock, I think was the album before this, Twice Coaster. Didn't really like that album either, so I had zero expectations for these two, but they surprised me so much with how much I actually like them. On Red Flavor, Mojito, that, was it Zoo? Yeah, I can't remember, but it was so good and so cute, and this whole entire album took me by surprise, so that's why I was really impressed when I did listen to it. I was like, hey, I actually really like these songs for once. I'm very picky when it comes to my favorite groups, because I feel like there's a certain level of expectations, and then when it doesn't get met, you're kind of like, oh, I wish they could have done better. But I really like this album, and I think finally Red Velvet has a concept that they can grasp like very well. So there's that. And then for Twice, the songs on here are really nice and relaxing for something I think that is so cheery and cheerful. But Ice 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 on here is really good. What was the other song? Only You was really good on here, and of course Signal is a masterpiece. So I'm very surprised by these two albums, mini albums, but because I think Twice full-length album and Red Velvet's full-length album are very, very good. It's just some of their mini albums are very hit and miss for me. So there's those two. And then next is for a solo album. And I think everybody knows that IU is a queen, and Palette was a masterpiece. I don't know what accolade I can, you know, even say to tell people how great this album is. Ijigum is really good. Palette, obviously. Iran Ending, it was so good. And then my favorite song on here was Through the Night, Pampyeonji. And then what was the other one? Ending Scene was really good. There's just nothing bad you can say about this album, except for maybe the Photobook. The accordion thing on here was kind of weird, but that's a packaging problem, not a song problem. So this is my favorite solo album for this year. Okay, and then the next was an album that could have been better. So this is not a negative thing or anything, but I felt like Wiki Mickey's first mini album, Weenie, it could have been better. I thought the songs on here are very, individually, they sound good, they sound okay, but I feel like as an album, and especially a debut album, it was a little bit messy. And the last song was very cheerful, but then the songs prior to that was very like slow and emotional, and they kept going kind of back and forth. And then when you start out an album with a song like I Don't Like Your Girlfriend, and then proceed it with a light ballad, it just feels a little bit off for me. But individually they sound really good, and I think they obviously have a lot more to offer because they're a rookie. But I really wanted more from this album, because Yoojung and Toyeon, I love them so much. And the other girls, Soyeon, I really like her. Ellie and Rina, I really like them. So this was a group that I felt like could be so much higher on my bias list, but this album was a little bit disappointing. So I wish they could have had more, but I know they will, because like I said, they're a rookie group. There's no way that they're not gonna just get better, because they will. There's this. And then next thing is most anticipated album of 2017. So I've gone on and on about these two groups, and I think you know. First is 101's To Be One. This I anticipated so much because after Produce 101 ended, we were like, oh, when are they going to debut? When are they going to debut? Even though we know they're going to debut soon, it was just that waiting and that kind of teasers dropping every day, and like, oh my god, who's next? It was driving people crazy. And August 7th. So this is I think my number one anticipated album for this year, just because I did not have the patience of waiting. I was like, they need to debut now. So there's To Be One with Songwoo on the cover. And then my ultimate group, Super Junior Play, was the second most anticipated. And the reason it's second is because I trust Super Junior so much that, I know it's coming. I know it's coming in my head, in my heart. So I never, feel like, oh my god, when is it going to happen? Because I know it's going to happen. And I know that I will love it no matter what. So the anticipation wasn't as high as, To Be One. But it was still there. It's because you're so excited about something that is going to be so good. But at the same time, you're like, oh, but I know it's going to be really good. And so you're like, just let it come when it comes. So nothing disappointed about this, obviously. It's just amazing. And it, like I said, gave me a lot of flashbacks to previous years, previous albums, and just how, as a whole, the album was handled. Even though the promotions were cut short, even though, there were kind of negative things happening, Super Junior never fails to deliver on something that they would. And again, that's kind of where that level of trust comes in with, Super Junior and their fans. It's like, okay, we know you're going to do this, and we trust that it will be great, and we trust that everything will be okay. So there is that. And then my last question is an album recommendation. So obviously I would recommend all of these albums, but I think a lot of people have missed out on a lot of good albums this year, me included. So by watching a lot of these other K-pop tags, I would know, okay, so maybe I should listen to this instead. And my first recommendation is New East W, Here, or Where. The reason I would recommend this, because they are, the definition of a turnover, a new challenge. New East and produced 101, and then they became New East W, obviously waiting for Minhyun. And I think this album is just like so sad at the same time, but it's such a happy thing because they're waiting here, and the title song is called Where You At, and it touches your heart in a way that just makes you want to cry. And then another thing I really like about this is because it has solos on it, and then the two tracks obviously as a group, but the solos on here are very, very nice, and I would recommend this just to get into New East, actually. But yes, one of my recommendations. And another one of my recommendation is Jessica, My Decade. Jessica will always be my ultimate female bias, and her songs, as you know from like her first mini album, second mini album, and now third mini album, her songs are so relaxing and so simple, yet there's just a lightness about it that I don't think a lot of these other groups have, or they don't want to do, because it just sounds like too generic, too simple. But I think Jessica elevates it to a sense of, okay, I know what I'm doing. I know that this is the me I want to project to my fans, and I'm just going to go ahead and do that. And I really enjoy the songs on here. Summer Storm, it was so good. And I really like Saturday Night as well on here. And the pictures are just so cute. And I wanted this to be my favorite photo book just because of the last two pictures on here. Let me show you. A collage of Jessica from all of like previous years. even when she was in Sochde, and then the boy's hair right there, and Hoot is just so nostalgic, and I can't believe they did this collage. I mean, look at this masterpiece right here. Oops, me. Right there, and then, oh my god, the boy's genie hair, and I got a boy hair, and then her Blanc and Eclair opening, and the tours and stuff. Oh, see, this was such a... I almost cried when I saw this collage, but it was only 2 pictures, so I didn't want to, like, just have those 2 pictures for my favorite photo book concept, but I would recommend this completely. Jessica's voice is very relaxing and beautiful. So, that was it for, my K-pop tag of 2017, K-pop album tag, and I'm sorry that it was such a long video. I felt like I had a lot of talk. I talked a lot about all these groups because I really like them and I really like their music. So that is it for this tag, and I hope that I can do one next month, or not next month, next year also. I'm hoping 2018 will be a great year for K-pop, like 2017 has been K-pop wise, even though there's a lot of negative stuff happening outside of music, but this is kind of what it's all about. So I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.